This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Back again. Alright, mate?
Oh, mate.
A bit wavy.
Is it a bit dark?
No, it's fine.
Should I put that down?
No, I think it is down. No, mate, put.
No?
No. On the way to Manchester.
Yes, yes.
Just do this for like 10 years, mate. You know?
What, all this up and down the motorways?
Up and down the motorway.
How are you feeling about it? You still got the love?
Still got the love, yeah.
Still got the hunger?
Still chasing the views.
Do you remember when you done a day in the life of Eddie Hearn?
Yeah.
And you come round and knocked on my door?
I might re-upload some of that stuff.
It was so cringe.
I
watched it.
London, all right, mate.
I know. Oh, bloody hell, what are you doing here, mate? Oh, dear. Yeah.
10 years ago.
It was, mate. It was. Time flies, huh? How you feeling? Because I know you went out last night.
Why do you have to bring that up? Like, there's no need to
Well, it wasn't a secret, was it?
I know, but you were sort of suggesting that I was out last night,
mate.
having a few, you know.
Alright, mate.
Just saying.
If you're having a tough day, I won't mention it.
No, I'm not having a tough day.
All good.
What's your thoughts? 50-50 fight tonight? Quick.
Yeah, we were just talking to a couple of people there, weren't we, on the phone, FaceTime. A lot of people talking about it. It's kind of like, I guess, what does Scott Quigg have left in the tank? There's nothing to think that he don't have a lot left in the tank. I mean, his last performance in Boston was really good, but he has been out of the ring for over a year with injury. John O'Carroll is always full of beans, isn't he? Looked great on the scales. Had a great fight with Tevin Farmer. You know, a very close fight, really. I think it's going to be a great fight. I know it's my job to hype fights, but I do feel this is going to be a great fight. I can't see it being anything different, can you?
No, I think we're going to get a good fight tonight, but are you favouring one or the other?
I think on paper you have to fancy Scott Quigg. You know, in terms of his victories, in terms of the level he's fought at. But in terms of freshness, you may fancy John O'Carroll. But we're going to find out everything we need to know. Scott Quigg has to. I think if Scott Quigg loses tonight, I think he probably retires. Because I don't think he would want to box at anything else other than world level. And if John O wins, it's a massive win for him.
Do you want to just kind of run us through the rest of the card? And,
yeah, you got Hughie Fury back against Pavel Sauer, who's supposed to fight in Monaco.
Yeah.
Remember, pulled out on the day of the fight with illness. I kind of feel like the pressure's on Hughie a little bit, because obviously the pressure's always on because his cousin's Tyson Fury, but he keeps talking about how he's had criticism over the years, hasn't he, about his style. And when you think he's only so young and he's boxed, look at his resume. You know, he's boxed Povetkin, he's boxed Pulev in Bulgaria, he's boxed Joseph Parker in a close fight in Manchester, and he has always boxed a little bit negatively. But I don't know whether that's because that's his 100% his style, or just because of the level he's up against, and maybe his confidence. And you know, now he talks about this hand injury that he's had for so long. He's been fighting virtually one hand for a long time, but now he's saying, watch tonight, you know, watch the improvement. And I feel like fans are very quick, aren't they? We all are, to jump on something. Like, if after one round Hughie just boxes, you know, negative, it's like Coley, isn't it? You know, Coley steps up, gets in one clinch. Oh, he's always holding this geezer. He's always holding. So I feel like the pressure's on Hughie Fury tonight to put in a good performance. Sauer's not bad. He shouldn't win the fight, but he'll have a go. I think it's, people got to understand sometimes you've got to be entertaining. And it's not a case of being reckless and getting beat. But if you're entertaining, the fans will repay you. So I'd like to see Hughie tonight go in and let his hands go and try and look good. Really good fight for the number one position in the WBO super middleweights between Zach Parker and Rohan Murdoch. Really good fight.
Yeah.
Kind of fight that Zach Parker's been sort of waiting for this opportunity. He boxed on a couple of WBSS's, so he's not that well known. Rohan Murdoch's from Australia. He's number one in the world with a WBO. He's quite unknown as well. It's kind of gone under the radar, this fight. But it's a really, really good fight. Zach Parker can fight, and I watched Rohan Murdoch in the workouts. Looks good. Looks really sharp, strong. Anthony Fowler is fighting Tete. Jack Flatley busted his ankle on Monday, so Tete's a late replacement. Tough enough. Fowler should look good getting the win. Jack Cullen, Robbie Davis Jr., Dalton Smith, all in good fights. Reshat Mati, the Albanian bear from Brooklyn, coming over for his first UK fight. Akib Fayaz. Who else is on the card? Blaine Highland. It starts at 4:30 this evening.
What is it on?
Yeah. So this is, we've started doing this thing where we're trying to televise every fight now. So from 4:30, it's before the bell, our build-up show, that we'll now go into the live action with Barker and Chris Lloyd commentating. I think there's 3 or 4 fights on there. Then we go Facebook at 5:50 on Sky Sports, and that is Dalton Smith and Robbie Davis Jr. Then we go Cullen, Fowler, Matty, Parker Murdoch, Huey Fury, Scott Quigg, John O'Carroll. It's a lot of action. Nice card. Hoping it's gonna. You always need a bit of luck, Hoping we get a good one.
Look forward to it.
Yes.
So, Edward.
Oh yes.
I know, like a week ago, I was like, we've got so many announcements. When is this going to be announced? And suddenly, in a week, you're like literally just blasted most of it all out.
No, there's a lot more to come, but a lot of it. Yeah,
it's a busy week announcing
it's been building up for a while. I mean, obviously, the AJ Pulev stuff. We had to navigate the negotiations there. It's mandatory, so it's always difficult. Shout out to our friend Bob Arum, Ivalo Gotsev, who were sensible enough to do a good deal for everybody, including their men. Dillian Whyte Povetkin obviously got announced. The response has been fantastic. Serrano against Katie Taylor on the undercard. I say undercard, I mean co-main event. I like to call that when it's a fight of that magnitude. Prograis against Hooker got announced. Selby against Kambosos Jr. just got announced, and another announcement coming for another fight on the undercard of Dillian Whyte on before the bell this afternoon.
Well, you can say it because we're going after.
Callum Johnson against Mikhalkin, the Russian, for the European light heavyweight title. So that card's really coming along now. You've got Whyte Povetkin, Taylor Serrano, Johnson against Mikhalkin, and plenty more to come on that card. Next week we'll announce another huge heavyweight fight for London in May, and then we do the AJ Presser the week after, and just putting all the cards together. We're in good swing now.
I suppose it's not really ideal for you to have 2 pay-per-views in the same month.
Not really. I would have liked to have gone the week before. I would have liked to have gone April 25th. That was always the intention, but we couldn't find a venue. And Dillian was like borderline ready for the 25th. We could have gone on the 18th, but Dillian weren't comfortable he'd be 100% ready. So yeah, look, I think we just come to the stage, haven't we, where there's no point sort of hiding, when people like beating around the bush on pay-per-views. It is what it is. They're there. You look at them on their own merit. If you feel like there's value, you'll buy them. It's never ideal to pay for anything. I just went to Starbucks, didn't we? I bought a soya caramel macchiato. I bought a bottle of Smart Water. I bought another drink, and I bought a cookie.
Less than the pay-per-view, or?
No, it was £11, so cheaper than the pay-per-view. But I would have rather spent £19 and got a pay-per-view.
I see where you're going with that.
To be honest with you,
the fans will love that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that weren't great. So no, I'm not. I don't agree necessarily. Always agree with the line of, well, you have a pizza, don't you? It's the same price. At the end of the day, it's the value that every product gives you, and I feel like with our cards that we put on, I still think we never ever get the credit that we deserve for our undercards. I really don't, and I'm not having pops at other promoters, but you look at pay-per-view undercards, they are poxy. Already we've just announced 2 fights. Taylor Serrano, it's a monstrous fight, it's the biggest female fight of all time. Johnson against Mikhalkin. There's loads more to come on that card, and that's what we do because we're always under pressure to do it. So yeah, it is 3 pay-per-views in 7 weeks, something like that.
No, I know it's not your problem, but we've also got Joyce and Dubois.
Yeah, again, but you look at all the value as a customer, and some of those 4 there will be, you look at and you go, not for me. Or some you go, fuck me, that's a great main event. And look at the undercard. Fuck me, Hearn's done it again. You know what, I sat down, I was going to leave this one, but I've sat here, I've been looking at his social media, listening to his dulcet tones. He's got me double horny, wallop with a red button.
3 times in 7 weeks. It's a lot though, Ed, isn't it?
It is a lot, yeah, of course it is. But again, I'm not, you know, it's always your choice as a customer.
Okay.
By the way, one of those pay-per-views was supposed to go on March 28th, which was Usyk Chisora. But unfortunately, Mr. Usyk wasn't ready.
So you got an announcement about Chisora and Usyk next week?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Some other stuff.
Usyk, as you keep saying. Usyk.
Usyk.
It's Usyk.
Usyk.
It's not Usyk.
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 Who said that? Ed. Right. Can we get some clarity from your side?
Anything you want, mate. What's up?
Right. Have you or have you not spoke to Bob Arum?
What do you think?
I don't know.
Of course I fucking have.
I wasn't there. So how the fuck do I know?
Firstly, I've been negotiating the Pulev fight with him.
Okay.
So how many times have I spoke to Bob Arum in the last 3 weeks? Half a dozen? More? A dozen? How many times have I spoke to Arum since the Fury Wilder fight? 4 times?
Okay.
Of course I've fucking spoken to Bob Arum. It's the big. Do you think it's the biggest fight of all? I mean, even if I didn't, right, or whatever, I don't want the fight. I definitely don't want to make the biggest fight of all time. I definitely don't want my client, my friend AJ, to have the undisputed fight and just make this huge match. No, I don't. But what do you think, Bob Arum? Do you think Bob's not going to call me and talk about it, mate? This geezer is all over it like a rat up the drain pipe. He was the first one calling me. Oh, what do we got to do? Step aside. Well, how are we going to make this fight? Well. We've been talking loads. So, are you? I don't know. I haven't seen Frank's interview where he says Bob Arum has definitely not had a conversation with me about the Fury against the AJ fight. Okay. Fucking hell.
God.
I mean,
right, well,
no, but seriously.
Oh, okay.
Seriously,
I'm only asking you because.
Listen, we ain't been negotiating the fight, talking of exchanging contracts, but we've had several conversations about Fury Joshua.
All right. Okay. So, as a result of your conversations with Mr. Arum, according to you.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. No.
I'm saying according to you because I wasn't there and I didn't hear it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
All right.
As a result of what?
I spoke to Gandhi yesterday.
Well, no, but clearly you didn't.
No, but
one,
you
because
know.
you've got absolutely no power, and 2, because...
What do you mean I've got absolutely no power?
Oh,
mate,
mate,
the fact that I'm sitting in the mobile with you after Manchester games shows me the man.
Anyway, carry on. So, according to me, these made-up conversations...
No, according to you. Okay,
yeah.
So, as a result of your conversations with Bob Arum, are you optimistic that something can be done for December?
Very. We talked about how the fight would work. We talked about how the broadcasters would work. Again, it wasn't like drafting contracts. It was just an obvious conversation to have between 2 promoters of the guys that make up the biggest fight in world boxing. And all was said was, let's all get round a table. This is how the deal should work, and then go. It's not about. I have no problem sitting around a table with Bob, and if it has to be Frank, and if it has to be MTK, no problem. With us on our side, it's very simple how to get a fight done with AJ. It's not, oh, he said this, and no, I'm the man. No, you can't do this without me. No, I mean, how many people is he paying percentages to? Tyson Fury? I don't know. All these people? It's madness. But anyway, more than happy to sit and talk to Frank, Bob, MTK, whoever. In fact, we'll probably all end up getting together and trying to get it done.
Is how realistic is that to happen? All in a row?
No problem.
But it has to happen to make this
fight short. I don't know. I mean, they've got to come together and say this is what we've got to do. Not he's saying that, he's saying that, he's saying that.
But you see, this is obviously a dual broadcast across like America.
I don't know Tyson. I mean, all I know is that Tyson has a first and last deal with BT. So what that means is someone can make an offer, and if they want to match it, they can match it. Okay. So for this last fight, Sky made an offer, and BT decided to match it. So, you know, because of the performance of the pay-per-views, they might not want to match the next fight. I don't know. But we don't have an issue talking about dual broadcast. There's a million ways to skin the cat on this one. But we would definitely not rule out. I'm not going to go into this negotiation. So it must be on Sky, otherwise we're not doing a fight. Of course, we're happy to look at all different options. And the same in America with ESPN and Dazn. And that's a conversation. Well, part of my made-up conversation with Bob, a lot of that was the ESPN Dazn conversation, because that is important to how the fight is shared and how the structure of that sort of payment process and price point for the pay-per-view is also shared, because it's a different model for Dazn. That's not a conversation for me to stick my nose in. That's a Dazn and ESPN conversation. And regarding Sky and BT, I don't have an issue talking about a dual broadcast. Once we find out about their deal, how does that work? If it's first last, can Sky make an offer to do the whole fight? If not, don't worry, we'll do a dual broadcast, not a problem.
But I mean, John Skipper's got a great relationship with ESPN, hasn't he?
We worked there for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't believe it's the. I don't think the broadcast situation. I don't think anything's going to get in the way of this fight because it's so big. Arum actually thinks that Pulev's going to beat Joshua.
I know.
Because he said to me,
yeah.
"Are you not worried about the Pulev fight?" I went, "What do you mean worried?" He went, "I think he's going to win." I said, "Well, if he wins, he wins. You know, there's no. It's boxing, isn't it?"
I will say one thing though. I mean, last year did show us that nothing's a given. I mean, people assuming that Joshua would beat Pulev, it's not a given at all.
Nothing is a given in the division. Nothing is a given in life. Nothing is a given in boxing, but nothing is especially a given in the heavyweight game. One punch changes everything.
As we've seen.
Just like in the Tyson Fury Wilder rematch coming up.
You actually don't know.
You fancy Tyson big time, but one punch can change everything.
Interesting. So, what will you do? Ideally, I mean, there's no chance of anything being put in place before Joshua's fight and Fury's fight. Is that what you want to happen?
That's what I want. I'd like to do the deal now. There's no reason why. I've got full authority from AJ to go ahead and do the deal that's right for him. Obviously, he's got to clear it all, and there's no reason why we shouldn't do that. People, you know, everybody wants that fight. It makes the next two fights even more interesting. You know, it's like semi-finals to the final.
Best laid plans go wrong though, Ed, sometimes.
It's true, but you can't be afraid to make plans.
Of course. So options, so say the Fury Joshua fight isn't to happen. Options for Joshua, obviously number one would be this mandatory with Usyk.
Yeah, but Usyk's got to beat Chisora.
Right, okay. So
but if we don't fight Fury or Wilder, if he wins in December, we will fight Alexander Usyk or Derek Chisora.
Who becomes the mandatory?
It's not a final eliminator, but if you beat number one, generally you'll take the number one spot.
I'm surprised Chisora never fought Joshua. Are you?
I think that his resurgence came a little bit later. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Shoom.
Remember that one. But there's no other option. It will either be Fury or Usyk.
Yeah.
Or
Dillian Whyte.
What?
Who knows? That fight's going to happen. Because it's going to happen. It's a cast iron certainty, that fight, at some point to happen. But Dillian's waiting for his WBC mandatory, February 21. But I still believe that the AJ Dillian Whyte fight.
So there's nothing going on behind the scenes to kind of alter that February 21st date, 21.
Well, we're pushing the WBC, but they've made it quite clear that's the date. They're going to allow.
What more can you do with that?
Soon.
Okay. But what? Okay. Why haven't you done that if that's an option?
Because it's not something that we're not litigious people like other promoters. We like to try and work things out, and we've got a relationship with the WBC, but we do feel like we've been treated poorly. Dillian Whyte's been treated poorly, but again, it's like it's the millionth interview, isn't it? And with all governing bodies, they have a wonderful clause in their rules which basically says, "Oh, by the way, we can do whatever we want." True story.
Okay. So, Dillian Whyte will obviously fight twice this year. He's not going to fight more than that,
might fight 3 times.
Why?
Well, because if he boxed 3 times, that would be 3 times.
No, I know that. But like May, and then how do you
May
write
the
that?
2nd, July, August, November, December. But probably twice, because we want him to be ready for early 21, because we're going to be putting the pressure on. Ultimately, if AJ fights Fury in November, whenever it is, the winner of that fight would have to sign to fight. Yeah,
Whyte.
the WBC would say the winner has to fight Dillian Whyte if he beats Povetkin. No, you know.
If Edward,
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. What are you still sticking on the fact that you think that this fight lands in Saudi?
I mean, I'm not sure that quote's entirely true. I think that we would like to make the fight in the UK. If the fight's going to be in November, December, you have one option: Cardiff. Okay? So we need to present every option, every site to the fighters and their teams, and they will make a decision on where they want the fight to take place. There is a problem that staging a fight in Cardiff will give you significantly less revenue than a fight in Las Vegas.
Give me a percentage.
25% of the percentage of the revenue that another
Fair chunk then.
yeah. But I'll make it clear, and I don't mind. Listen, wherever we go, I'm going to take the blame for it. So the fighters and me would like this fight to take place in the UK
But Cardiff being your only real...
for November, December. We can't go
Yeah.
outdoors, you know.
If you just give a hunch, Edward,
Mm-hmm.
would you say that this fight will take place this year? Give
Yes,
yes.
yes, I do.
If Joshua
they
comes
both
through
win, yes.
Pulev and he comes through Wilder.
But we're also happy to sign an agreement with Wilder that if he was to win that July fight, we'll go straight into that fight as well.
Do you think they might be a bit more open to having those talks with you about that?
No,
No.
probably worse.
Do you think?
Probably not in the best.
That relationship really has never really kind of
What, me
blossomed, does it?
Me and Winkle?
Not just you and Team Wilder.
Not really.
Mm.
Too many cooks spoil the broth, mate. This is the problem with a lot of these situations. There's about 4 people claiming that they're actually the ones who make all the decisions. You know, Shelley, Al, Jay Diaz, whatever, Bob, Frank, whatever. So,
With these cards you got coming up, who have you got eyeing up for the undercard of Joshua and...
a few things. A
Pulev.
couple of world title fights that we're looking at. A couple of big domestic fights as well.
You ain't got no
We've got-
heavyweights to put on that card though, have you?
Which one?
Joshua. Everyone's fighting or doing so.
Say everyone. Who do you mean? You mean
Oh,
Dillian?
Dillian.
And Chisora.
Chisora.
And when we got
Oh,
Ergovic, we got Price, we got Allen,
Oh, I'll just
we
shut
got
up.
Hunter,
I'll just
we
shut
got
up.
Joseph Parker, we got Gassiev, we got.
Have you still got Gassiev?
Yeah, well, you're waiting for him to fight. He pulled out again, didn't he?
Yeah, I know.
So I have to see what happens.
No, I saw a tweet. Someone said that he'd left you.
No, he's
No?
under contract. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
He ain't fought for me yet. He could leave me if he wanted to. Just give me a buzz and tell me that
all right.
you're actually never going to fight.
Actually, ignore what I said. You probably bring back Big David Price into the fold at some
Huey
point.
Fury as well.
Huey Fury.
Huey Fury, David Price.
Oh, go on then. You've got actually quite a few options you can stick on
Well,
these cards.
you just went. You got no heavyweights left. Only rattled off 15.
All right, fair. Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, of course. There's lots more. Right, Edward.
Hmm.
Dazn
Mm-hmm.
made an announcement this week,
Yes.
which is quite interesting
Mhm.
and quite to the future of, well, yourselves, Sky, everyone really, them coming into the UK market, launching in May. Yeah, your initial thoughts. I know you knew about this
everybody-
anyway.
Yeah, of course.
but, yeah.
I mean, we knew, Sky knew, obviously. Obviously, Dazn knew. I think it's a smart move from. I mean, this is about. Although this conversation's about the UK, this is about the global service from Dazn. So what Dazn have done is acquired significant number of boxing fights and rights, and I think from them, and again, this is, I don't work for Dazn, subject to opinion. And I think when they're offering rights out and fights out to international broadcasters and the revenue's quite small, I think this is probably a decision to say we might as well just do it ourselves, create a global service. And I think it's going to give them the research they need to see which territories might be viable to actually make significant investments in, you know. So for instance, if they run this service in the UK and the numbers are strong, maybe they turn around. They're not when we say they're coming to the UK, we know the service will be available. You're not going to see them buying rights, staging UK fights, all this kind of stuff. That will come, but it's not going to come. I mean, again, not speaking out of turn, it doesn't come this year, in my opinion. And again, other markets that are really interesting to us, which Dazn will now enter. I'll give you an example. Already in Canada, but Australia, India, other territories in the Middle East as well, will suit us well with our international expansion, because we're going to be looking to be operating in around 11 markets by the end of 2020. So we've had a natural fit with them in America, in Italy, in Spain, and we expect to see that in their existing territories in Germany, in Canada, Japan, but also through their global service look at other territories that we're already eyeing, particularly Australia and particularly Scandinavia. So it's great for us in that respect. A lot of sort of chat and oh wow, Dazn coming to UK, Sky, Eddie, blah blah blah.
Yeah, can you just put in layman's terms the predicament that you may find yourself in?
Well, I think that you'll see, obviously the predicament is that when we entered our relationship with Sky, we were just a UK operator. That's all we were. Now we're a global promotional company. We had a good meeting with Sky on Thursday. Obviously Sky's...
Are they concerned?
No. I mean, again, there's been a lot made of our deal with Sky, what are we going to do and how long it's got left, but there's not. We've got a great relationship with Sky, great relationship. We've built this together, and it's really a case of, they all want the top UK fighters to be on Sky, and there's always the conversation that we have about UK rights for international shows coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning. What is the value? What are the numbers? Some are terrible, some are decent, some are all right. Doesn't mean that Sky will stop showing international content, and everything will be on a case-by-case basis. But it's not, to be honest. Although at some point it will put me in a predicament, not at the moment, but at some point, the more broadcasters that are involved in the sport, the better for the sport of boxing. So if Dazn came to the UK and started televising UK fight nights, it's great for boxing. Doesn't mean I'm going to be doing them, but it is great for boxing because they'll be making a significant investment. When Channel 5 come into boxing, and now they've got a show coming up in a couple of weeks, brilliant for boxing. I wish ITV would do more boxing. BT, great, really pushing boxing, because without the competition, do you think that if there was no broadcasters involved in boxing in the UK, that Sky would be as aggressive as they are in boxing or spend the money? No, of course not. So we welcome these people into the marketplace, and literally, and same in the US spot as well, the more the merrier.
Hold on, just picking this back up. So you say you're not kind of currently in a predicament?
No.
But you will find yourself one?
Yeah, of course.
Well, can you give us the highlights of your conversations with Sky the other day?
I'm not going to go too deeply in, but we're obviously in a period now where we have just over a year to go on our contract, so we're discussing extending it. I mean, that's what they want to do. That's what we'd like to do. We've been with them, bloody hell, 15, 20 years on the boxing, I don't know, well beyond my time. And they are, we consider them a huge part of our business. And the growth of boxing, whilst, it would be very unlike me to take all the credit, we have to give a lot of that credit to Sky, because of course without the investment that they've made, there would be no British boxing. At a time when no one cared about boxing in Britain.
Yeah.
10 years ago. Sky were the only broadcaster. Just because we made it hot with them, every other broadcaster. Listen, the only reason Dazn want to enter the UK is because of Matchroom and Sky. Yeah? So the pay-per-view model is by far the best in the UK. It's not even close. You know, their production, their team, their, you know, the ability to cross-promote into other sports, you know, Sky Sports News. It is a perfect relationship we have with Sky. So, you know...
Ed, where do you think, obviously, since Sky and you, Matchroom, become kind of exclusive, since the days of when they used to promote with everyone, where does that leave Sky if you take Matchroom out of their kind of... Well,
they'd have loads of options to go with other... Listen, if we didn't extend our deal with Sky, it doesn't mean that boxing wouldn't exist on Sky, wouldn't exist successfully.
But it would be a significant rebuilding, wouldn't it, again?
It depends. You know, I mean, listen, they may just take individual fights, they may go exclusively with someone. But when they went... don't forget, you know, 10 years ago, they had Matchroom, Frank Warren, Ricky Hatton and Maloney, and I said to Barney Francis, you got to get rid of them, and we got to go exclusive. That was never, well, it was like, that was frowned upon. Then they started seeing my work, and then eventually Barney put his faith in me, and it was one of the most groundbreaking deals boxing's ever seen. And to be quite honest, it changed the sport, and Sky did that with us. So yeah, it would be, not blowing our trumpet, but it would be a blow for Sky to lose us, and it would be a blow for us to lose Sky. So it's a great relationship, and you know, the meeting was very positive on Thursday, and you know, it is a brilliant relationship.
So I suppose people just really want to know, what are you going to do when your deal runs out?
I told you what we're doing. We're talking to them Sky at the moment to extend our deal beyond 2021 when it expires. So we're happy, amazing team of people, amazing business. We know we're going to be under a huge amount of pressure from Dazn to become their exclusive UK promoter, probably global promoter, but we're going to speak internally, and we're going to make the right decision for our business, and we, you know, loyalty is a huge thing for us, and Sky have been an amazing partner.
This isn't just come down to money for you, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It's not like who offers the best deal financially.
Money is, no, because we may know the answer to that already.
Right.
But it's more than that. We do have an obligation to our fighters to make sure that we can give them the best opportunities, the biggest purses, but we also have an opportunity to them to gift them with the best platform. And you know, for us, we want the best relationships. So, but it's definitely not just about money. And again, Sky are like family to us. They really are. You know, they've been with the business, not just across boxing, but all sports, for decades. And you know, I think I want them to reward us in a way, and our fighters in a way, that I believe we deserve for the work that we've put in to the sport, and to make sure that the fighters can continuously earn these great purses that we're seeing at the moment. And that's something that Sky have done unbelievably well with us, is help us evolve and changed in the ever-changing market, because the purses have doubled in the last 2 years, you know, or trebled in some instances. You know, sometimes we've had to do more pay-per-views than might be anticipated. Sometimes they might have to find a bit of extra money to make a fight, and they've been amazing for us. So, you know, it's interesting times.
Ed, would you say that with Dazn, say they came in and like went all out, and in a couple of years' time, could that be the death of pay-per-view in this country?
No, I don't think so. I think that our pay-per-view model is safe because of our price point. I think the problem that the US has is at $80. You know, alternative models, illegal streams, or anything.
Yeah, but if Dazn was showing your match and fight,
well, I think if Dazn got us, yeah. I think that anyone that gets us is a clean sweep to control boxing in the UK.
But that would surely have a
It wouldn't.
massive
I don't
impact
think it
on
would
pay-per-view
kill. I
then?
don't. It would have a huge impact on pay-per-view. Huge, but it wouldn't kill pay-per-view. There's always going to be people prepared to pay for big one-off fight nights. But of course, if that was done in a subscription model, it would be very amenable to the customer. But you know, we don't know. It's early days. Early days.
Early days.
Everybody's like, wow, just calm. It's not. Nothing's happening at the moment, and we'll see what happens.
All right, listen. Just before I let you go,
Yeah.
Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo. I mean, everything's kind of pointing in the right direction.
Yeah,
but
we
no
have
announcement yet.
we have a contract, of which that he's going back and forth at the moment. So no fight deal. There's still issues to be discussed, but we're confident next week there'll be an announcement for that fight.
Okay, so Callum Smith out of the running now.
At the moment, anything. No, but if we can't agree on the contractual points, maybe something changes next week. But at the moment, it looks like Billy's going to get it, and we're making alternative plans for Callum Smith.
Okay, I'm assuming that you would be here in Manchester, May 2nd.
Yes, I'll be here in Manchester.
All right, are you going to go and get ready now?
I am, mate. Let's go. Big show tonight. Cheers, people.
Thank you very much, Edward.